Okay, I bought these XD series rims off of a Jeep that I already purchased, so I didn't go out and purchase them myself. Either way, I like the rims. I think they're decent. One thing that I found that I kind of got caught by surprise after fact is that these rivets that are on here, I thought were metal when I first looked at them, and probably just because I overlooked it and didn't really think too much about it. But after having them, I started noticing, when I was cleaning them, that they started fading, and I found they were plastic. So I think it's kind of a cheap design, in all honesty. And one of the things that I tried to do a little research on is how do I make it better. And so you can see, you can just pull these rivets out, little plastic ones like that. I tried a couple of different ways. I tried just snapping them off and putting them in. The problem with snapping them off is that depending upon if the actual rim has been used, it somehow compromises the plastic and it shrinks. So when I go to put a bolt in there, the plastic spins. So I didn't really run into that when I put the one on the back, and you can see these are the rims I put that I was able to put the new bolts in, and as you can see, I have a washer that's going around it, and so these are aluminum washers, and I think these are stainless steel bolts that I have in there. I tried to order the bolts to the right size. The problem is that either way I had to wind up cutting the bolts individually. Now some of you guys would probably say that's a pain in the ass. I'd never do that. That's up to you, obviously. I didn't want to waste the rim, and I didn't like the way it looks just with black. So the way I looked at it is I'd put the new bolts in, spent pennies on the dollar for the bolts, and then essentially I just cut them off to the right size, and you'll see this here as I go through it. I had to cut them off. Obviously just wound a nut on there before I cut each one of them off, and it took me about, I don't know, 10 seconds per bolt to cut it to the right length that I needed. So what I'm doing is that as I put these new bolts in, which will fit in like this, I'll snap the end of this off, and I'll just wind it up into the threads on this bolt here. And I'm using epoxy, which is essentially liquid weld, and then I'm putting them into the rim so they don't come off. And I had pretty good success on that. Some of it's been trial and error, in all honesty, but wanted to give you an example of what it looks like in the process. So I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of these off real quick, and then I'll show you what I'm doing for each one of them as I go to put them back on. Easy enough. Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to just let you know. Got everything finished, and I figured while I was at this point, I might as well just clean the rims up. So you'll see that in here, I guess the light's pretty bad, but it was a good opportunity to clean everything up. Did the other side as well. Went through and put the rest of these together, and I'll show you how I did that here in 1 second. Okay, so apologize for the bad lighting here. So what I've done is I've taken each one of these, snapped it off, and put this through the center of it. I'll show you how I did it real quick. Figure I'd save you from the boring detail of going through every single one of them. Workbench is kind of dirty, hope you guys don't mind, and I'm sitting back thinking, how can I do this with me just being able to hold the light and the cell phone together here. So show you what I did. So took this, put it on here. Just took another pair of vice grips like this, and just twisted until it snapped off, essentially. There you go. Simple as that. Then let's take the little burrs. It's just plastic, so the burrs come off real easy. Sorry if this is upside down, guys. I don't do this as professional or anything. I'm just kind of a guy that's doing some common sense stuff. So, you know, obviously we'll put this in here. What I've done is I've used the vice grips to get a little bit of a extra bite on it, just to hold it in place. And I'm using the snapped off side here against where the washer is, because it just seems to seat better when I go through and do this. So essentially put this in here, and then what I'll do is give myself a little leverage. Yep. Well, there you go. It's like anything else, right? Nothing ever seems to go as planned when you're trying to film it. But anyway, I think you get the idea. Let me reset here. I'm trying to do this with two hands. All right. Trying to get it in the camera. So then, the main thing that I found is, what I want is I just want to make sure that this rivet, the washer doesn't move on the other end of it. So now you have the idea of what I did there. There's the end result. Again, sorry for all the bad filming here, but I'm sure everybody will get their opinion and criticize, so on and so forth. But so what I'm going to do here now is I've already put out some of the liquid weld, and then I'm essentially just going to mix it here and get that all to the point where I can go in and get it done. So give me 1 second here and I'll be right back. Okay, so here I am. I'm about halfway through. Figured I'd give you a sense of what I'm dealing with here. So I'm taking the liquid weld here and just taking a little bit on it and getting it to the point where, you know, I've got enough to kind of sit down inside these holes. And then I'm putting it essentially all around the hole on the inside. I recommend doing it this way instead of trying to put it on the actual plastic piece, because then it comes out. Ask me how I know. So the idea is put it in there. This way it doesn't come out of the hole and create a little bit of pressure. If you do get a little bit of the liquid weld on it, time to get it off is now. Don't wait, because it really bonds strong. Now I'm going through and I'm using kind of a rubber mallet to put it in. You know, I don't want to damage the rim, but you get a sense for what it's starting to look like as I go through and put these in. Go around. Now, some of the folks that were out there used different ideas, so I used kind of a combination of the ideas that were out there. There's a lot of smart people that I'm finding that, you know, are just a lot smarter than me. But I didn't see a video while I was out on YouTube to understand or see exactly how to do this. So I figured I'd create one and hopefully be something you guys can use, or at least take the idea from, if you like some of it. You know, everybody's got their opinions and everybody has different ways of doing things. Like I said, there's a lot of smart people out there than me. But I used the bolt and the washer, and really it's more about aesthetics to me. The bolt itself, if I just went with the bolt, it looked too small. And you know, you compare the way that the old rivets used to look, which were about that big, and then you compare the difference between the two. I wanted it to be kind of wide but yet flush, and the reason why I wanted it flush is if you guys have this, you know this is a pain in the rear end to clean around in the rim, and that, to be honest with you, was the main reason why I wanted to go this direction instead of just leaving the bolts or these little rivets in there. But hopefully I'll give me a few more minutes here. I'll finish this up and let you see the end result. Okay, so I was anticipating questions on, well, why am I using the liquid weld in there if the original little rivets that were in here were never, you know, glued in or anything like that. And the simple answer is I didn't want to go through all this work and then run the risk of them popping out. So anyway, so this is the end result of the way the rim looks when you're finished. So, you know, guys, you'll have your own ideas as you go through it. I've just never seen a video done on YouTube where it would actually show how to do it. I mean, I've seen pictures of people that were done and, you know, different ideas. And like I said, there's a lot of smart folks out there. So get creative, do what suits you. The one thing I also thought of that you may want to know, and this is not a plug for the company, but Ryan Racing is where I've got the rivets, I mean the bolts and the washers from. It comes in a packet just like that. They're just sealed up, and they come in a packet of 20, so all you really need is, well, I bought enough to do each one of the tires, so, you know, there's 16 on each tire. You can do the math. But anyway, wish you luck, and God bless you guys. Take care.